Hi guys and welcome to ThrustZone.com. This is Sony. What is in front of you is the KTM RC390. We gave you an exclusive video earlier, couple of weeks ago when the prices were announced. Today we are riding it at the Bajaj's Chakan test track, and this is the right place for this bike, at least to begin with our reviews before we jump into the road test later in the couple of weeks, because this is the most track focused bike KTM has ever made. They've made a lot of changes to this motorcycle to make sure that it stays fresh, and that update was well due because the previous RCs were made, then they were only made basics compliant, and now finally almost in a brand new avatar the bikes are back. What are the changes? Well, as you can see, we showcased you earlier the color that was the orange and black. Now we have the orange and blue, and I must say this definitely looks better because the blue with the orange is something brand new. It's of course MotoGP inspired as well from the KTM racing team, and it looks fantastic. These panels here, as we know, the design is very similar to the RC200. We've done a road test for that. We've done a first ride review from the track, so you have a very good idea of what the KTM RC is like. This is a new inclusion, which is a 3D logo on the motorcycle, and this is a new fuel tank here. It's an all steel unit. There is nothing fiber inside, so that has also made the tank capacity bigger. It now has 13.4 liters instead of 11 liters, so that's a big amount of jump. And what you can see here is the new set of tail lamps that is on offer, and that is the split frame. That's how it's done. This is a slightly heavier frame than before because it helps Bajaj and consumers in many ways, because it can be exported really, it can be packaged well if it wants to be exported, and it also helps the consumer get a better aspect when in unfortunate accident the main chassis and the subframe chassis can be separated. That's the new swing arm that increases the wheelbase by 6 mm, and that's the new exhaust, very two-stroke like. We really like it. The black wheels with the orange paint stripes. Overall the front is flat, and you may like this design or not like it, but we think it looks very futuristic. Those are the LED DRLs, and just a second, those are the turn indicators, and that is how the wheel and the disc brake look like. It's now directly mounted. The wheel is lighter by 1.5 kilos. The disc mounting also is almost lighter by 1 kilo. The fuel tank is lighter because the fiber aspect has been removed, and both wheels, disc brake, along with a new bubble screen that is on offer, makes things much better while riding because the wind deflected now is much better. Of course it looks a bit bulbous, but then again it serves the purpose really well. And yeah, those are the new split seats. Very nice material that is on offer. LED turn indicators, and yeah, we've given you a very good impression of what the bike is like earlier as well. You can see it in broad daylight here. It looks really nice. We can't emphasize enough how good it looks. Let's jump to the switch gear, and that you can also see the similar instrument cluster from the past, and you've got traction control, which is now switchable and can be on and off easily, along with settings that you can choose from. KTM My Ride is also here as always, and those are the trip, fuel gauge, tachometer, everything is on offer. You can control everything via from here, and that is the high beam button along with pass light. Similar switch gear here as well. Fit finish, quality, and build quality as always is just getting better and better with KTM products. It now feels much better, very well packaged, and I really like the fact that there's hardly any exposed wiring that is looking weird and doesn't suit the purpose. Anything like that is not here. It now looks much more cleaner than before. It looks like a very high quality motorcycle. The previous ones were also good. This is definitely a step better. And before you ask me what does it sound like and how does it ride, well, let's begin with the exhaust note. That's how the engine sounds like. And now let's jump. So we are finally riding the KTM RC390 on Bajaj's Chakan test track, and what is it like, what are the changes, and how does it feel? So let's begin with the changes. Like I told you, it's lighter than before by 3.5 kilograms. on dry weight, and it's heavy, and lighter by 1 kilograms when it comes to curb weight. With a fully fuel tank, it is a kilo lighter. But when Bajaj says that there is 3.5 kilograms of lighter weight, that means the fact that all of that is felt while riding. So the new lighter wheels, lighter suspension, and the lighter disc brake, along with a slightly heavier frame, what that does is make handling insanely beautiful. I don't know what words I'm using right now, because it feels so light, so stable at the same time. It's just never seen before in this segment. It feels perfect. That's how a bike should feel. Earlier, because of the frantic engine and a very strong and sharp chassis, it felt like very hairy and yet fun at the same time in the hands of a capable rider. But now what that does is that, with a much more smoother engine, much more linear engine, with much more power and torque in the low and mid range, thanks to a new gear, to an airbox, what that does is a better low end and mid range torque, which has made it almost a second quicker. So 0 to 100 is now, instead of 7.2 seconds in the BS6 version, this is 6.3 seconds. So that is almost a second quicker, which is fantastic. That is down to, like I said, the new gearbox, slightly tuned engine, and to deliver more low end and mid range torque. That has also meant that the top end feels a slight bit congested, because it doesn't really reach the top end really well. Even with my weight in the past, it used to reach 170 kilometers an hour in no time, but now it is topping out on the same straight at around 160 163 for me, and that means that there is a bit amount of sluggishness, or maybe or very likely, because this engine is brand new, it needs to be opened up, and when the first service will be done, it will be much more freer. But then again, if there is more low end and mid range torque, it has to come at the expense of top end, but that top end is gone by, let's say, 3 to 5%, not more than that. But the major part is now it's much more livable, because the handlebars are now much more higher, the ground clearance is raised by 3 mm, and the clip-ons are raised. So that means that riding it in the city with more low end and mid-range torque, higher handlebar, and a seat that is much more accommodating even to one of the largest size riders like me. Normal riders will find it very, very comfortable, because the seat is padded really well and there's a lot of space to move around. This makes it a very, very good bike to live with on a daily basis. The Indian consumer was asking for that. Bajaj and KTM said they've listened and they worked on that aspect. And because this bike is slightly different than the international spec, because that bike is a little bit more focused, because the handlebars are lower on that, and etc, etc, and it obviously gets. So what is the KTM RC like to ride? Let's since we are at the track, we can tell you about the tires and brakes, because these tires are now much more slightly on the harder compound and not entirely soft compound, and that you can feel, because while cornering we think that it doesn't have the stickiness of the past Metzellers that we've been used to. KTM also confirms that aspect with us, and I think a much more stickier tire would be appreciated, but on the track this should, on the road most of the time, it should not be a problem at all. It's only when you're really, really leaning non-stop on a track for an entire day when you're going to realize that you need stickier tires. But on the road, even if you're on your favorite twisty part, you're not going to feel any sort of destabilization or any lack of confidence. In fact, these tires will last much longer. This should easily last 12 to 15,000 kilometers. Since we are on the tires, I've told you about the lighter wheels. The brakes at the front and the back are really good. They have great initial bite on the lever, and there's a lot of progressive power after that. The braking has been truly redefined by KTM on this bike, and that's also the reason why it's really confidence inspiring while riding hard and bottom line, smoother engine, calmer engine, much more easier to live with. Handlebars are now upright, so it won't be much of a pain on your wrist or back. Seats are comfortable. Ride quality is good, stiff, but not bone jarringly stiff like the previous version. So it is again a livable aspect that has been fine tuned to make sure that you get the best of both worlds. um, I think, yeah, slightly a good ride quality, good ergonomics and seat, raised handlebars, much more calmer, smoother engine to live with, more performance. That makes it a very good package. It now looks better. It's priced, yes, at almost 3,15,000 rupees. But then again, there is a lot of value for money. You're getting a good amount of tech in the instrument cluster. The motorcycle is lighter, it's more fuel efficient, it's got more fuel range, it's a better looker, and all of that has come to a cost of 20 to 25,000 rupees more. I think that's definitely worth it. People who say KTMs are not value for money anymore, you have to ride it to believe it, how good it is. It's now not a motorcycle that heats up, or the alloys break, or it's not comfortable, the engine is not docile. Everything has been sorted out, and it always has been a great rider's bike. When you're pushing it hard, it continues to do so. So that's a balance that is finally being achieved by KTM. That has to come at a cost, and that cost is not that big, and that definitely makes it a lot of value for your money. I think that's it. That's what we can tell you right now from the track. Lot of changes, great fun to ride on the track, should be really impressive on the road. Stay tuned, stay subscribed for that will also happen as soon as we can do that. And first impressions, really blown away. Can't wait to ride more, and we definitely recommend this bike in this segment because there is nothing that comes close to this bike when it comes to sheer fun, good looks, quality, and an all-round package which includes great after sales and service in the country. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our website and social media for everyday updates. Until then, goodbye.